Good morning all. Today I'm looking at the Innoo Tech Solar Motion Sensor Light, which is solar powered. It has a motion and light sensor, also an auto dimmer, which is interesting. I've not seen that feature before, and high brightness. So here it is, Innoo Tech Solar Motion Sensor Light. The solar panel is on the top here. There's a protective piece of plastic here, which I'm just going to peel off, and on the face there are 12 LEDs. Now also in the box is a user manual, and there's a mounting kit with raw plugs and screws, and also this special pin. You can see there, it's just a piece of wire really, which you poke through the hole on the front there to switch the unit on. It's switched off for transportation. And I've also noticed there's a protective film on the LEDs, so let's peel that off as well. Now if you're thinking, we've seen you review one of these lights before, well this one is slightly different. If you look at the manual, it talks about the dim light mode, and although the English doesn't make a huge amount of sense, I think what I've got from this is that at night when it's dark, these LEDs come on dim, and then when you walk in front of the sensor they come on bright, but during the day when this thing is detecting daylight the LEDs are completely off. But I'll check that later on when it gets dark. Now the other thing about the Innoo Tech light, you can see I'm putting it next to the one I reviewed previously. This one has 12 LEDs, whereas the previous item had 10 LEDs. And I actually have another one of these, which is on this post here, which you can see differs because it had originally just 6 LEDs. So the Innoo Tech one has twice as many LEDs as that. So let's put the little wire pin into the hole and switch it on. See what happens. Well, nothing immediately, but let's see if I can make it dark in here. Okay, well we saw them come on dim and then we saw them come on bright. Dim, bright. Interesting. Now I've just noticed something else. If I put my hand over it again, comes on dim, comes on bright. If I take my hand away, it flashes twice, and I think that must be this. If the light is blink, means the power is very low. You have to charge it by sunlight soon, otherwise the device will stop working soon. So I think what I should do for the rest of today, while the sun is sort of partly out, is put this outside and give it a bit of a charge. But not before I've taken the back off it, so let's get these 6 screws out and see what's inside this unit. Well, I can't see much because there's a big piece of foam there, but it does look like this thing has a reasonably good waterproof seal running all the way around there, which sits on top of here. There is a hole in that where the wires come through for the connections to the LED panel. Let's see if I can get this piece of foam out. Well, it looks like this has the usual 3.7 volt lithium prismatic cell. It's not a pouch cell, it's much firmer than that. That's connecting down to the board. A couple of wires here for the LED panel, another couple of wires, the red and black up there, going to the solar panel on the top. But the board in this unit looks very different from the board in the previous units that I've reviewed. Now on this board there's an AS083, which looks like it's connected through to the PIR sensor, which is on the top. Now there is only a PIR sensor and a switch on that side, so I'm assuming that light level detection is done by detecting volts coming from the solar panel. The solar plus there goes through a diode, so it's an anti-backfeed diode into the rest of the circuit. And then over here next to the lithium cell connections is a DW03D, which is very interesting. Now, I can't find a huge amount on this IC, but it's described here as a 2-in-1 lithium battery protection IC. Now in previous of these solar lights didn't appear to have any lithium battery protection at all, so it looks like this solar light does at least have proper lithium charging and protection, or maybe not charging but certainly protection against overcharge. Here's the chip datasheet. I can only find a Chinese one, but there are a few clues here. We've got 45 to 60 milliohms on resistance for the MOSFET. And there's a functional block diagram which includes overcharge current comparator, overcharge over discharge voltage comparator, over charge voltage comparator, short circuit comparator, over discharge current comparator. It does seem to have quite extensive protection circuitry, which is good. Now, the AS083 PIR chip appears to come from AS chip. There's a functional block diagram here, and you can see that it's got a PWM out, PIR in from the PIR sensor. There is also a CDS in for a cadmium sulfide cell, but I guess that's not being used in this application because we don't have a cadmium sulfide cell. And you can see here the pinouts for the 8 pins on that particular chip. Now, of course, that doesn't answer the question which of these two chips is doing that double flash when the power in the battery is low. My guess is it's actually the PIR chip there. I can't imagine that the DW03 would have a double flash function built in, so I'm guessing it's that, but that is only a guess. So it's certainly good to see that these solar lights have evolved to have proper battery pack protection for the lithium cell. The previous units I've looked at didn't appear to have any battery protection, probably just relying on the fact that not much energy comes from the solar panel anyway, and you'd be hard pushed to blow that thing up. But I do prefer to see a proper protection IC there. Now, just to comment about these LEDs, they do appear to be cool white again. They're very blue and extremely blue at night. It would be quite nice to see one of these lights with warm white LEDs. I'm pretty sure they're cool white because the Kelvin is marked here as 6000 to 6500, but I will compare this with the other two lights outside when it gets dark tonight. So I'm just going to mount this light on my shed just underneath the other one there. Amazingly, the sun's made a brief appearance, so with any luck we can get this thing charged up during the day and then see how it performs at night. This unit mounts with 2 screws, one into the keyway slot at the top there, and then another one can be fitted into the little hole at the bottom. So it's a bit more of a resilient mounting than the single screw on the older type. Another thing that's probably worth pointing out is that the Innoo Tech does have a slightly larger solar panel. It's probably 10 or 20% larger than the older type solar lights, so that might help it capture a bit more energy. Right, it's now night time. The moon is up just behind the tree there. The Innoo Tech light is on its dim mode. Now if I move, that goes bright, and the one at the top also comes on. Now I don't know whether this is going to come across on camera, but the Innoo Tech 12 LED light is ever so slightly warmer white in colour. Let's just trigger them again. I can't see that through my camera, but I can see it with the naked eye. It's just a ever so slightly more pleasing light. Now the old solar light is actually upside down at the moment. If I turn it round so it's pointing down on the Innoo Tech, of course it goes off because I'm putting light on the solar panel, but it did do that double flash, which is a bit strange. I'm not quite sure why it did that, because this should be reasonably well charged now, having been out in the mostly sun all day. But every time I bring this one down, that one does the double flash. I wonder if it does that every time the light level gets above a certain level. I don't know. Now these 12 LEDs are providing a reasonable amount of light, certainly enough to illuminate this chair. I'll just cover the LED panel. You can see that's a reasonable amount of light there, certainly enough to move around and find things and so on. Now this dim mode, I suppose, makes this light a kind of hybrid. It's on all the time, so it's partly like a conventional garden solar light, this sort of thing, which can never be very bright if it's on all night. And then of course it goes bright when you walk in front of the PIR sensor. So in some ways it's the best of both worlds, but of course only time will tell whether this dim mode is going to cause problems in winter when the amount of sunlight that the lamp receives is very, very low. But there it is. That's the Innoo Tech solar motion sensor light, 12 LED PIR light. Cheerio.